Today's episode of Love, Marriage, and Fantasy is brought to you by Rara Style Appeal. This is your virtual stylist and style influencer. Styled by God, styled for a purpose.
This episode is titled Securing the Marriage Engagement. In this episode, we're going to talk about several things that need to be remembered during the marriage engagement. One of those is, what is your definition of loyalty? We're going to also talk about maintaining consistency during the marriage engagement. We're going to talk about respecting the marriage engagement and why that's important. And we're also going to talk about keeping financial stability during the marriage engagement.
All right, it is time for another episode of Love, Marriage, and Fantasy. I am Star Claiborne.
And I am Anton Leonard Claiborne, and we are your global relationship strategists.
We live our marriage on the guided principle of no one or no thing.
So take some time, listen as we make sense of all of this.
All right, so where are we going with this today, Mr. Claiborne?
Well, let's talk about the weekend. We had a really good weekend. We had our bucket list brunch.
The bucket list brunch for couples.
I had fun.
The food was good.
Yes,
the food was good. The food was good. The food was good. The atmosphere was good. The couples had an amazing time.
And shout out to Rob and his wife, the owners of Companions.
Companions. Gotta look it up here in Roswell, Georgia. Gotta look it up. So Companions. Sweet potato biscuit, my favorite.
Sweet potato biscuits were good. I had a veggie omelet with tossed spinach on the side. Delicious. I was actually eating nonstop. One of the couples pointed out that I hadn't said a word since I started eating, so I had a really good time.
Yep.
What about you?
I had a really good time. I know everyone enjoyed their food. Everyone enjoyed the idea of being around other couples, having that opportunity to connect with other couples and get to learn more about other couples and the things that happen after you say I do in those relationships.
Right.
But yeah, it was pretty amazing. All right, so what are we going to jump into today?
Today, we are talking about securing the marriage engagement. How's that sound?
Securing the marriage engagement. That is a super important topic for today. There are certain elements that you need when you are looking to secure that engagement. We'll talk about a few of those today and bring that to light for you. Let's start with the first one. What is the first one? The first one is consistency.
Ooh, a lot of people have issues with being consistent. But in this case, we're going to talk about engaged couples. Marriage, couples engaged for marriage, they should be a lot more focused on being consistent with maintaining the marriage engagement or the agreement of the marriage engagement.
Now, with the maintaining that consistency of the engagement, we're not meaning that you cannot be spontaneous.
Not at all.
So let's look at it from two different aspects.
Okay.
Because you have to be consistent with the spontaneity in your relationship. Okay. So you want to have that spontaneity in the relationship, but you want to be consistent in adding that into the relationship.
Right.
What are some other levels of consistency that we need to bring to light?
What about those couples with children? Like if you are an engaged couple with children, you want to make sure you're consistent in making sure that the family is good on all levels throughout the marriage engagement. Because you don't want something to come up with one of the family members who feels as though this engagement or this connection isn't going to work. Because you might have a child who feels as though the man coming into the marriage isn't suitable to replace their father.
Yeah.
You may run into a situation like that, and so that's when it would be important for the couples to be in constant communication with the children, if there aren't children, to be in constant communication with the children and helping them to feel comfortable with the idea of this this bonus parent coming into the household.
And that's coming down to, again, that communication aspect. You've got to be consistent with not just communicating with each other, but communicating with those children that are involved as well, and getting to learn them, getting to connect with them, getting to do the things that they love to do, and that'll bring you to a whole nother level of consistency. All
Yes,
right?
it would, and it will take you to a whole new level of bringing fun and spontaneity into the relationship. Because whether the children are present in the relationship or not, uh, continuing to introduce spontaneity into the relationship during that engagement period is very important. You don't want to get so wrapped up in trying to prepare for the wedding
Preparing for the wedding.
that you stop having fun.
Away.
Right.
Take your mind away from what's really important about the family and about the relationship.
You need to do things that's going to keep the relationship fun and interesting. And one of the best things you can do is to include a little bit of spontaneity.
Yep.
It'll make a big difference in keeping that marriage engagement secured, tight. That's what you want to do. So, I think this is a good topic we chose. What do you think?
I think so. I think a lot of people just, like you said, they jump into the engagement and the only thing they think about is, I've got the ring, especially women. Speaking from a woman's perspective, we got the ring, it's time to get the dress, it's time to get ready for the actual wedding ceremony, and totally forgetting sometimes about the important elements in between the actual engagement and the marriage itself,
right,
to be able to make sure that marriage remains stable after the fact, right?
Right.
All right, so let's
Speaking
look at,
but since you mentioned stability, let's talk about stability.
That's actually our second piece.
So with the stability, I know it's something that many couples feel they have a handle on, but making sure that the finances are good once you agree to this marriage engagement, that is so very important that you do. It's something that you must do. And in some cases, it may, create a little bit of tension during the marriage engagement.
Yeah.
Because some people don't like to talk about their finances. They just like to live from day to day and not worry about that. But when you're bringing someone else into your life and you're going to start doing things with that person, they need to be included in your financial situation. They need to be aware of where you stand financially, because that's, by sharing that information with them, that's going to help them to feel like there's some stability here. I can move forward with this person because I'm aware of their financial situation. They are aware of mine. Together, we're going to maintain some financial stability.
Right. And with the financial stability, understanding where each other stands financially, but, don't let that, wherever each of you are, don't let it stop you from moving forward if you really love each other and care for each other, because the whole idea of the stability is that you're always working towards something together. Just like in our relationship, I can tell you, I came into this thing with, my credit was way down, right? Like, it was way down, so my credit wasn't the best. I'm a spender, and then we have, of course, Mr. Claiborne over here who can, I don't know,
a lot more organized.
And literally can find $20 out of a penny. I don't know how he does it, but he finds money every day.
Right? I do find money every day.
He finds money every day. But the point is, we now have that one thing that every couple needs to do, and it's continuing to educate yourself.
Right.
Where are you now? Having that goal, where are you trying to go? And making sure that you're educating yourself on the financial pieces that are going to bring that stability into your family and into the relationship, into the engagement. One of the things that I read was that it averages like $35,000 just to have a wedding. Right?
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, I can't even imagine spending $35,000 on a wedding, and I did not spend $35,000 on a wedding. We did not. We are happy. We are great. Okay.
We had a pure wedding.
We had a great wedding, but we did not spend $35,000 on the wedding. All right. So just making sure that, no matter where you are, it doesn't mean that you can't introduce the financial stability into it where you are, but remembering that you need to get that financial education and always figure out what that next level of financial education can be. There's always levels to it.
You're right. And one thing you can do to help you be aware of the next level is put together a budget. Putting together a budget will help you to stay focused on your next step when it comes to your finances. So that's definitely something you want to keep in mind once you agree to join the engagement or marriage. Okay, it's time for a social media break. Star, you ready?
I am.
All right, I am starting the timer. And what this is us taking time to search social media and find out what's going on with situationships and relationships. Star, the timer is starting now.
All right, let's see what we got. What are people talking about today? How about this one on Instagram?
What you got?
It's officially what you mad for. You said we just friends, right? It's that season.
Well, yeah, right. Yeah, that's what it is. It's that season, so don't be mad.
Don't be mad when things happen and you said that y'all just friends. You got to make a decision. You got to make that decision.
Yeah, which one is it? We friends or we gonna be lovers?
Yep. You got to make.
Oh, I got one. Okay, so this should be standard for all women, all in capital letters. No more reckless situationships. And what they're talking about is someone posted, gotta be my best friend, my homie, my diary. We may go through some shit, but I won't leave your side. I date to marry, not just to waste time.
Right.
That's real talk right there.
You know, that's that communication right there.
Yeah.
That goes back to what I just said. Are we friends or are we together? You know, let's make that decision, right?
Here's one. I honestly see what people mean when they say relationships and situationships can become toxic. That is a fact. Both of them can become toxic.
What about when you no longer let them manipulate you? Be prepared to see a version of them you've never seen before.
Ooh.
That's kind of deep. Because, you know, manipulation is real in these relationships or situationships, shall I say. It's real, and you have to be able to identify manipulation. Because some of it doesn't come as clear as others.
Right. But as soon as you start letting people manipulate you, that's when you start seeing their true colors.
Yep.
Somebody said, I got sneakers that I've had longer than most of my situationships. Well, I mean, they're not meant to last forever. Situationships are bound to end sooner than relationships.
Because it's a situation.
Right.
Let's see. Oh, here's another one. Advice of the day. Stop having relationship problems with someone you're not in a relationship with.
Ooh. That's right.
How's it a problem?
Right. Why are we having problems? We're not in a relationship. Everything about this should be smooth. We arguing for like we husband and wife.
Yep.
I like that one. Well, that's it. So hopefully you got something from this. Okay, now that we've had a little bit of fun, let's get back into the discussion. That also leads into the next topic of respect during the marriage engagement. You definitely want to maintain that sense of respect for not only your partner, but also for the engagement itself. You don't want to continue living like a person who's single when you've committed to this marriage engagement.
Yeah.
You just don't want to do that. You're setting yourself up for a failed marriage if you try to continue living as a single person during the marriage engagement.
You are not
because it's going to bleed into those actions are going to bleed into your life after the wedding. So you have to make a decision at which point are you going to start respecting this union that you are about to enter.
And
And
talking
the best
about
time to start respecting it is during the marriage engagement.
and being single, when you realize that you're no longer single, you are now with someone. This is a partnership. This is something you're doing together. Another level of the respect comes in, being honest with yourself. Making sure that you are ready for this. Making sure you're having that conversation with yourself and each other, and being honest with each other about your expectations and what you're expecting from. What do you want from this relationship? Are you all going to be able to deliver on that fully? But making sure you're really respecting each other and always going through some personal development. That is a big key aspect of respect in the element of a relationship. Always have your own personal development going on, because if you can work on yourself as an individual, which is super important to the relationship, maintaining your own individualism, you will definitely be able to survive through that engagement and through that marriage. So make sure that you're communicating with each other. Make sure that you're honest with each other. Make sure you're honest with yourself first and foremost, and that you're just consistently working on that personal development.
Let me comment on that self-honesty, because the great thing about self-honesty is that it will lead you into respecting yourself.
It will.
There's no doubt about it. Once you start being honest with yourself, what you like to do, who you are, where you're trying to go in your life, what your goals are, all those type of things. You're going to start seeing yourself in a different light. You're going to start appreciating what you've accomplished, and you're going to start desiring to accomplish or to achieve more. So yes, that self-honesty is going to play a huge part in helping to build your self-respect.
Yeah.
So what we got next?
The next element is going to be loyalty. I know this is a favorite.
Loyalty.
Loyalty, right? I'm wondering how many of you were even wondering if we were going to get to that one. Is that a real element? It is an element of
we have to
engagement.
It is, and we have to address it because everyone has their own definition of the word loyalty.
Everyone, and that is the key factor here. You need to have that discussion. What is your definition of loyalty? Because at first thought, a lot of people think it's, don't cheat on me. That's it.
Right.
It's deeper than that. It's bigger than that. It's not just, being unfaithful to that person. It is maintaining that marital agreement.
Yes.
Of course. But again, what's that agreement before you even get together? What did your agreement look like? Because, there's a thing called the ring that says that there's an agreement. But there's also that verbal agreement that the two of you really need to have. It's not just, we're married to each other because you gave me a ring, I gave you a ring, right? It's not, we now have this agreement out in the air somewhere. Have you had that discussion about what that loyalty looks like for yourself? And another piece of that is understanding independence.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Because I am glad you brought it up, because one thing that I know a lot of couples tend to forget is maintaining their individuality during the relationship. That is so very important to do. You have to be able to not only maintain your individuality, but also commit to representing the union of marriage that you are about to step into. So you have to look at it from your own perspective of being a person who's a part of a team, right? And then you have to look at it from the perspective of being a person who's a part of the team who wants to do better for the team.
Absolutely. And let me say something about the representation of the union. And this kind of falls under respect and loyalty. One of the things that comes to my mind is, when you're out with your friends, you're out with you may even run into your ex. But you're out with your friends, you might see your ex or whatever, and all of a sudden there's this conversation. Maybe your mate did something, or your fiance did something that really made you upset. But does that give you but should you, under a loyal standpoint, should you really be out there speaking negatively about your mate? There is no point that you should downplay your fiance. There is no point that you should downplay that person that you're with. I mean, and then I know for females, I don't know if it happens to men, but for women,
we're not that much different.
There's so many times that I've run into an ex or something, and what do you hear? Oh, that you know what? Oh, him. And immediately shut it down. I'm just telling you, you got to shut it down. There is no way that I would in any world allow anyone to disrespect my husband.
Well, women do the same thing because they'll say, well, she can't ride you like I used to, you know, and you know, I get it. You know, they're trying to get back in with you because now that they see you're with someone, they feel as though, oh, I must have missed out on something. So let me try and get back in before he goes and, you know, marries this woman, or, you know, trying to get back in with them to see if I can still get a shot at him. Or in your case, you know, he might try to get back with you just because he wants to see if you're really going
to take that step.
Right.
I mean, are you really going to take that step? I mean, and you have to know, again, that loyalty. You got to know where that loyalty lies in your relationship. And this is one of the things where we say no one or no thing.
No one or no thing should be allowed to come in between your marriage. Period. No one or no thing.
That's it.
You have to separate it like that. No thing, no one, no thing.
All right, so let's wrap this up.
Let's wrap it up.
So today we talked about securing the marriage engagement. Consistency, stability, respect, and loyalty. Remember those things as you move forward in that, and you will have a successful engagement and marriage.
That wraps it up for another episode of Love, Marriage, and Fantasy.
Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Claiborne Coaching. Download the podcast, Love, Marriage, and Fantasy, and look us up on Facebook at Claiborne Coaching.
All right, so we'll see you next time.